What's up, guys? Today we are celebrating hitting 20,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, which is absolutely mind-blowing. When I first started this channel about 2 years ago, it was more just putting my videos up when I'd go out on my hikes and everything, and would put out some tutorials here and there, but it wasn't anything I really took seriously. And then after about 1.5 years, you guys remember when Chris and I were in Scotland, we celebrated hitting 10,000. That was in January, which was mind-blowing in its own, you know. And we're only 5 months later, and we just hit 20,000. We just passed 1 million views on the channel, which is, I can't even tell you guys how mind-boggling that is that happened. It's just, it's not something that we're not really ever concerned about, or we don't chase numbers, or I got to get this many subscribers or this many views per video or anything like that. But it's humbling that you guys want to follow along, you guys want to see our content and stuff like that. So yes. It's a huge thank you to you guys. So with that being said, we decided we posted on the community tab to have you guys give us some questions. We were going to do a Q&A, and I did it also with my Instagram story and Chris's Instagram story too. We got some questions, so we're going to answer them now. So let's get started.
Alright guys, so the first question that we got was how we two actually met, and this question came from my friend Mitchell. So he is Mitchell5499 on Instagram, if you want to check him out.
We were following each other actually on Instagram, and this was after we had both of us were part of the Brendan Vanson photo group, the Mother Photographers. So we did like an Instagram share or something like that, and we started following each other on Instagram. And Chris was actually going to come out and plan a trip to Arizona and was asking me some questions. Actually, I think I responded to one of her stories to start with, and we kind of just started chatting about photography and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then I planned that trip to Arizona, and I just asked Mike if he has some tips for photography spots there, and he was like down to come with me on a trip, which was exciting for me. So yeah, that's the whole start of our trip that we took there, like a little road trip through Arizona and New Mexico, and yeah. Yeah,
it started off with me giving tips on where to go, to me maybe taking her out to a spot or two, to me ended up taking all the days off she was here and spending 10 days together, and yeah, it just kind of went from there, and we were pretty much been inseparable ever since. Yeah, and by the time we finished that trip, we were already planning our next trip to Scotland. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. And you know, she had seen the YouTube channel and stuff like that beforehand, so she knew how hot I was and everything. So
I knew you weren't a creep.
Knew I wasn't a creep or anything. So yes, you know, and she knows Brendan and Greg and all those guys, so they could vouch for me. So it was cool. So.
And vice versa.
Vice versa, yes.
So next question comes from Philly Fresh. We'll link him or like mention his accounts right here, so you can go check him out on Instagram. And the question is, what difficulties do you face traveling so often, and how do you overcome them?
All right, there's quite a bit when traveling all the time. You know, financial I think is probably the biggest one, and you know, trying to always search for the cheapest flights, cheapest hotels, or look for deals and things like that. Like I use Skyscanner to send me alerts whenever I know my dates and know my location. I'll always find the cheapest flights and you know, try and find out ahead of time when I'm going to travel, and carrying camera gear. Carrying camera gear is such a pain. You got, you know, all the stuff you got to carry on with your laptops and your camera bag with all your lenses and your camera body, and just having that heavy bag on you all the time is pretty tough. Plus you know, you get a check-in, you know, you get a check bag and things like that for all your clothes, and yeah, it can be a bit difficult and time consuming, and you know, it can put a wear and tear on your shoulders and back obviously too. So
for me, the difficulties are more about the preparation, so deciding where you want to go and what you want to do there, and also prepare all your photography locations. That's a big one for me, because I like to prepare the travels and know where I'm going and what opportunities are there to shoot, but I also find it very time consuming to do that, and I'm very happy that Mike really likes to do that, and he's very good at it. So sometimes if we travel together, then I can just rely on him for all the preparations. But yeah, other than that, for me, a little bit annoying is just the packing process, and how do I overcome that is just with a list. So that I'm sure that I have all the batteries I need, all the cables that I need, all the adapters for the different countries and everything. So that's like a big help.
Yeah, that's a huge thing with planning too. Is you know, knowing where you want to go. Is it a national park, a state park, or private property, or do you
Oh
need a
yeah.
permit and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, planning is huge for the little things, not just finding a location, but you know, what it takes to get there, what do you need as far as, you know, permits and things like that. So yeah, that plays a big role into it. You know, looking on Google Maps and all your apps for hotels and just logistics is can be very time consuming. And you can always go and wing it, but it makes things a lot more efficient and a lot easier if you know, have a really good lay of the land, know how to get around. You know, if there's any language barriers, then you know, you have to deal with that as well too. So luckily Chris knows, you know, like 47 different languages, so so we're good there. And I know 1.5, and the one that I do know isn't very good. So
Yeah, I guess we were kind of lucky that we only went to places that so one of us at least could speak the language.
Yes.
With the exception of Scotland, none of us could really speak that
yeah,
language.
none of us can understand what things that they say over there. Wadger catcher, if you're watching, man, we have no idea what you're talking about. So yeah, so luckily when we were in Scotland, we had Brendan Vanson we met up there, and then our buddy Adam, also known as the Wadger catcher. He met up with him, and he was able to slow down when he talked, so we can see, you know, hear what he said and things like that. So that helped out a lot
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. He also has a YouTube account, so if you want to go over and check him out, I'm sure he'll be happy if you come over and check him out.
Yes, go check him out. A lot of Scotland stuff. You guys are interested in Scotland. He's got a lot of stuff from there.
Next question is coming from the community bar from YouTube, and it is from... I'm not going even to try to pronounce that. We just put it down here. And the question is, do you make enough money from just photography to support your recent travels? Switzerland, Arizona, Scotland, Rome, Patagonia. Or did you sell a liver? Did you?
Yes, I sold my liver, and I've been traveling on it ever since. No, the short answer is no. I do not make enough to cover all my travels. We do make money from the YouTube channel, and then I do write articles and sell photos to like editorial and things like that. But as of right now, it is not enough at this point to do it full time, or do, you know, it covers some parts of the travel, but not all of it as of right now. It continues to grow and trying to find more ways to make money. Like, you know, we got some stuff planned this year and next year. We'll get into that because one of the other questions kind of touches on that a little bit. But Chris wants to, you know, do calendars and prints here really soon, so that's going to be something new, revenue stream wise. So the thing with travel and landscape photography is you got to have several different sources of income. There's not really, it's tough to have just one source to make a living on. So that's something that we're going to be exploring more this year and really start getting serious about next year as well.
I also think that's a very interesting part of photography, that you can have different income streams and just not rely on one, but different kind of things you can do just to explore different areas. So next question comes from Instagram, from our buddy Richard Taylor, which is Richard_Taylor_photography on Instagram.
What's up, buddy?
And the question is, have you, Mike, any plans to start doing any photography workshops in the future?
Yes, absolutely, we are. 2020, that's one of the things we just kind of alluded to in the last question. So 2020, we are going to start running workshops. We are in the middle of planning our first one, and we'll be, obviously after that, we'll be, you know, obviously doing more. We're probably going to start here in northern Arizona. So stay tuned. If you guys, a little pitch, in the comments or in the description below, I do have a newsletter. Down at the very bottom of the description, it says to sign up for my newsletter. We will be announcing it. We'll announce it on this channel as well. But we are working on having workshops in 2020. As of right now, I do kind of a private type workshops in Sedona through Airbnb Experience.
Go check it out.
So I will put the link to that also down below. I do like just morning or afternoon Sunday. If you guys are in Sedona or want to go out, if you're in Arizona, you can sign up through there. It's like a 4-hour shoot where we go out for either sunrise or sunset. During the summer, it'll be Milky Way. So I have my schedule up of when I'm available and all that. So that's something that I am doing as of right now. But as far as the full-on travel workshops, you know, the 8 to 10-day workshops, yes, we will be doing those next year.
That's exciting.
Hey. Also, we haven't, other than this, well, probably northern Arizona, we haven't decided on other locations for workshops. You know, we're probably going to start, maybe just start off in the Southwest here in the U.S. and then branch out, because we have visited a lot of places, both of us combined, all over the world, and we would love to do workshops in a lot of different countries. But I think for right now, just to start off with, we're probably going to start here in the U.S. Southwest and then kind of start branching out from there. Perfect. Ooh, it got hot.
Next question comes from A4_Oscar from Instagram, and the question is, I have a Nikon D7200 and I am a beginner. I can afford to upgrade to the D850, but should I? So far, all I have is 2 prime lenses, a 35mm and a 50mm.
Okay, so the D7200 is a fantastic camera. I believe that is a crop sensor. So the answer would be no, I wouldn't upgrade at this point. The only time you really need to upgrade is if the camera limits your abilities or limits what you can do or what you want to do. But no, I would, if you have to upgrade any kind of equipment, I would start with lenses. Lenses are even bigger, they're more important than camera bodies, and then maybe a good tripod. But I'm one of those people who are a big advocate of invest in experiences. You know, spend that money on traveling somewhere, or, you know, book a workshop or something like that. You know, I don't think just upgrading for the sake of upgrading is ever really that great, especially if you only have 2 prime lenses. So what I would do is get a couple of full frame lenses, you know, maybe like the Tamron 15-30 or the Nikkor 14-24 or even the 16-35. Just some really good glass is what I would start with first before you even worry about the body. Glass is probably more important at this point. So as far as equipment goes, I would say lenses for sure. Do some research, but worry more about getting better, learning your camera, learning what different focal lengths do, you know, learn different techniques like focus stacking, learn some post-processing and things like that. So I would recommend doing all of that before you buy a new body. That's, to me, that's the last thing you do. Like I said, to kind of start with, don't buy a new camera body unless it is limiting you in some way.
Also, I think what helped me a lot is going out with other photographers.
Yes.
Just meet, I don't know, maybe you have a buddy that is a photographer too, and just go out with him or her and just check out what the other person is doing and just learn from each other like this. I think that's very underrated. And I know photographers can be very lonely wolves. We too are too.
Oh yes.
But I think it's just, that's a good way to improve your photography. Or also you could set up a group on Facebook with people in your area and try to do photo walks. So I think that's a very good thing. Okay guys, last question comes from That Brex Guy from Instagram, and his question is, how did you get started with traveling full time? It's something I'm really interested in and would love to do, so I'd love to hear your thoughts about getting started.
Well, That Brex Guy, I'm interested in it too. As of right now, I guess technically I don't travel full time, although it seems like I do because I'm gone all the time. The key is to get your photography to pay for your travels, which is something that Chris and I are both working towards. Right now I have a normal job, but not a normal schedule. So I end up working only 14 days a month. I work as an electrician for a copper mine. And so I get a lot of days off, and there's a span of 6 days off I get every month. And then I get, you know, blocks of 4 days off. You know, I work long hours and things like that. So I don't spend my money on anything else. I don't go out. I don't really do a whole lot. I don't drink or anything like that very often. So I don't really do anything with my money except for travel and photography. Obviously don't have any kids. Don't have anything really other than, I don't have any debt. I don't have things besides, you know, the truck. But, you know, and I do make okay money. you know. So for me, that's my passion. That's something that I want to do. So most of my travel does come out of my pocket. I do get photography to pay for some of that, but yeah, my biggest thing is start a budget, start finding out how much money you're making when you do start making money with photography. You know, try and limit your travels to, you know, try and equal out. At the very least, get your photography to pay for your travels. You may not make any money or make any kind of profit for a while, but yeah, just work hard on the business side of photography first, and then you can start worrying about it paying for your travels. But yeah, as of right now, no, I don't do it full time, and it doesn't pay for my travels quite yet.
Also, another option would be that you're just you don't have a job that you're rely to be on one spot. So there are a few jobs out there that you don't have to be in a certain. You don't have to go into an office every day. So you can just work remotely. So maybe if you already have a job that can do, where you can do that, that could be an option. Or you're just specifically looking for a job that you could actually do that. I mean, there are a lot of bloggers out there who don't have like a place that they go into. They just work whatever they want, wherever they want. So I think that could be another opportunity. And
Yes.
there are other very good videos about that. For example, Nelly Winter. I don't know if some of you guys follow her on YouTube, but she has some pretty good tips about that. So
Yes.
living the nomadic lifestyle without relying on photography, but on other income.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of companies that allow you to work remotely, so absolutely something to look into. Yes, and also too, there you can actually travel really, really cheap by taking buses, by taking trains, and things like that. And it depends on where you're at as well. You don't have to make a lot of money to travel full time. To be honest with you, I know people that make probably, you know, I don't know, 20,000 a year. I mean, and they can travel full time. It all depends on where you're staying. They stay in hostels or Airbnbs, find really cheap places to stay, eating really cheaply at grocery stores, not going out to eat, not drinking alcohol, and not flying everywhere, you know, unless you got somebody paying for that. So there's a lot of ways to actually travel really cheap. You don't need to make a lot of money in order to travel full time. So that's another thing you got to take into consideration as well. All right, guys, so we are here in northern Arizona on a beautiful, beautiful road trip. We got permits for the Wave. We're doing 2 different places near Page, Arizona. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm going to put the playlist right here in this video. So click on that, and we'll see you guys here soon.
See you in the next video, guys.
Bye.